What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's talk about Mr. Crocket. So, this is Continue or Not, movie edition, and we got to talk about the movie. We just have to talk about the movie. So, let's get into it. First up, I just want to off rip say spoilers because I'm going to be like talking about this movie from the beginning to the end. All right. So, off rip spoilers. If you don't want that, please, click off the video and come back if you want to hear my thoughts about it. I would love to hear your thoughts about it in the comments below. But spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. So, now that you know that, you can't say you didn't know. Okay. I enjoyed the movie. I definitely enjoyed the movie. If I had to rate the movie, I would give it a solid seven. A solid seven. And mind you, I am not a horror girl, okay? I'm a spooky girl. And what I mean by that is like during Halloween, I'm watching, Coraline. I'm on my second watch of Coraline. Paranorman, Frankenweenie, Ghostbusters, Haunted Mansion, Hocus Pocus. That is my genre that I get into during the holidays. I'm not watching Saw. I'm not watching Scream. I'm not watching, Cabin in the Woods. I'm not watching Strangers. And mind you, all of those movies I have been forced to watch by my friends. So, like, I don't know. I know. But this I actually really enjoyed. And I mainly wanted to watch it because of the concept. Like, when I read the synopsis of the movie, I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. I wonder how it's going to go. And I enjoyed it. As well as one of my favorite content creators, It's Rocks. She's been promoting the movie really heavily, mainly because I think her nephew is a part of the production team. I think he is one of the directors. If I got that, I hope I got that right. But she has been encouraging everyone to go watch the movie to support, and I enjoyed it. Like a solid 7 movie. Like as I was watching the movie, I was like, dang, I wish I was watching this with like a group of friends. Like this is definitely a movie I think that you can call your friends up, y'all order pizza or takeout or whatever, get you like have some wine or get you a drink, and y'all watch it and like laugh and scream and jump and have a good time. This is a movie that I think that like when people are having Halloween parties this year, you can play it in the background just to have it be like background noise mixed in like with music, because that's how it's been at some Halloween parties I've been to. And people will probably like stop and actually like watch the movie because it is very like entertaining. So I like, again, it's a solid 7. I would give it a solid 7. So let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about it. So let's talk about it. So it opens up and we meet this family. You got the son, Darren. You have the mom, Rhonda. And I think the dad's name is Kevin. It's 1993. They're in this place called Shuri Bottoms, Pennsylvania. I said we could have came up with a different name. Even if it's a real place, we could have came up with a different name. And so we go into the house and Darren is like laser focused on the TV. He's already watching Mr. Crocket. Like he's sucked in, okay? And Rhonda is trying to fix the kitchen table. The daddy got a stank attitude already. So off rip, it's kind of giving the vibe that he might put his hand on his family. They done had the police come to that house a couple of times for domestic disputes. Okay, and it's been the daddy's fault every time. And so he's watching the TV, and Rhonda, the mom, is like, hey, Darren, baby, come to the table so we can eat. He's acting like he can't hear her. He probably can't because he in there right now. His mind gone. And then the dad is like, I know you hear your mother. Come to the table. So then Darren gets up and he's like pushing his food around. He's not really trying to eat. Every time like Darren does something, the daddy kind of has like an attitude, and you can tell that like Rhonda is like very tense. So like she's like Darren, baby, just try to eat a little bit, just a little bit, baby, just a little bit. And he's not really trying to eat. So then the dad kind of gets aggressive with Rhonda, the mom, and so she leaves the table. She is frustrated. She's just like, okay, let me go. And so the dad is like, since you want to act like a baby, Darren, then I'll treat you like one. And he tries to shove the food in Darren's mouth. Next thing you know, it goes black. I don't like. And then Mr. Crocket pop up. It's like, when I tell you, The actor did such a great job with making you feel uncomfortable, because every time Mr. Crockett was on screen, I felt uncomfortable. I felt unsafe and I felt very uncomfortable, because he's like a mixture of like Mr. Rogers, Pee Wee Herman, and like Barney all into one. Because he gives Mr. Rogers, because he's like clean cut, like nice hair, like bow tie. He's wearing a sweater vest. He has like a button down and like khaki pants. And then it gives Pee Wee Herman, because the world that he comes from, everything has a face. Like the clock has a face, the furniture has a face, like and then it reminds me of Barney, because there's like human sized puppets. It's a lot going on, and all of it makes me uncomfortable. Okay. And so Mr. Crockett is like, oh, so you trying to be mean to the kids, let me be mean to you. Now mind you, I'm like, well, I mean, the daddy kind of deserved it, because he was given that he's a horrible person. So I wasn't really mad at this unaliving at this point in the show, because I was just kind of like, well, yeah, he probably deserved it. Probably deserved it, okay? Because he wasn't a nice guy. So he shoves the dad into like his chair, and it's a talking chair. It has teeth all throughout it. Like the eyes are like up and bulging out, and like it has arms, and the arms have like spikes and teeth coming out of it, and it's restraining the dad, and every time the dad moves, he constantly gets impaled. And so the dad's like screaming out for Rhonda to come help him. Rhonda not moving. So I'm like, Rhonda, you don't know, you don't hear that man screaming? What about your child, Rhonda? Where you at? And so he's like, Mr. Crockett now is like, oh, Kevin, because I think that's the dad's name, Kevin. He's like, oh, so you're going to eat all your food, right, Kevin? Because you want to be a big and strong boy, Kevin. Don't you, Kevin? And Kevin's like, what is going on? I said, bro, I don't know. So then Mr. Crockett like materializes like this food, and it's like worms, and it looks like vomit and mud, and he tries to force feed Kevin, but Kevin don't want to eat it. Basically what Kevin was about to do to Darren, Mr. Crockett is doing to him, but much worse. He then like slices Darren's stomach open, so now all his organs are laying on his lap. Then the chair starts to like eat him, and then Mr. Crockett burns him with a like iron that you use to press your clothes. All of a sudden, then Rhonda wants to come when he find, like, it's like the third time Kevin is screaming out, Rhonda, help me, please. She walk into the kitchen, she screams, and the screen just go black. So we don't know what happened to Rhonda. We don't know what happened to Darren, but all we know is the daddy gone. the daddy gone. So we're in the car, and we meet Summer and her son Major. And Major has an attitude. He's like, why are we here? Like, and Summer's explaining like, your dad was sick, and this is how you say goodbye. So off rip, we know we going to a funeral. So they walk up into the funeral. Major got an attitude. Like, he is pulling away from her. He don't really want to be here. And she's trying to get him to like, behave. He's like, where's my game? Can I just play my game? And so she pulls out like, I think it was like a Game Boy. I don't know. And like gives him the video game to play. And so he sits down, and like he's sitting on the front row pew playing his game, not even paying attention to what's going on. You do see a scene where he sees his dad in the casket, but I don't know if he like dissociated from it, but he really wasn't like acknowledging that his father was gone. And mind you, he's 8, so I don't know how 8-year-olds will process death in general, but I don't know. He wasn't doing well. And so we see Summer give a speech. We find out that her husband was like a community leader. Like, he was a coach. Everybody could count on him. And like him being gone is going to be felt throughout the community, and even much harder for Summer and Major. So they leave the funeral, and they go to Summer's house for the repast. And it's a bunch of people there hugging on her, bringing food. And Major runs up to her and is like, I'm bored. Can I go outside? And she's like, yeah, Major, just go out in front of the front where I can see you. Just stay in my line of sight. And so a family friend pulled up and was like, girl, you need to nip that in the bud. You need to nip that in the bud. I'm bored. She said, girl, now that the daddy gone, he gonna be talking to you like that more. You need to spank him. You need to spank him. And then they do the whole like spell the Bible verse. I think it's like spoil the rod. I don't know. Talking about spoil the rod, spoil the child. I don't know the verse. Okay. They just told her, girl, you need to spank your child. And while everyone is talking and laughing, you could tell that like not Rhonda, but Summer's not like really there. Like it's like all this, like I said, Summer is just like, she's not picking up on what this like family member is putting down. Like she's not there. Like she's out of it. Like she it's just static. That's all she hears. We see Major in front of the house and he's playing with a football. Next thing you know, this lady who I thought was a crackhead pulls up on her and we find out, girl, it's Rhonda. Rhonda down bad. Her fro look dehydrated. Her lips are chapped as hell. And she just scratching. She got on a heavy jacket and it's not cold out there like that. And she freaking the community out, okay? She's stressing everybody out. So you see Major playing with the football in front of the house, just throwing it up. And Rhonda comes up to him and she's like, oh, do you like football? And Major is looking at her like, yeah, okay. Like, and she was like, my son likes football too. You know, he likes football a lot. And Major's like, cool, cool, cool. Get away from me. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to save you. And she grabs Major. And Major, rightfully so, is like pulling away from her. And he starts screaming for Summer. He's like, Mom, 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 Mom. And mind you, she's kind of out of it. And then she comes to it once she hears her name being called. And so she runs outside and she shoves Rhonda off of Major. And Rhonda's like, you protect him, keep him safe, because once he gets him, you'll never get him back. You'll just never get him back. And Summer is looking at Rhonda like, girl, what is wrong with you? Don't make me call the police. And so Major runs into the house, and then Rhonda starts to sing the friendship song that Mr. Crocket sings in his video. And so Summer's just looking at her. Rhonda's looking at her like very remorseful, but like also like, girl, if you knew what I went through, you would be this crazy too. And so she runs back into the house and like locks the door. And we see Rhonda like singing the song, walking down the street. And then you see a light pole with a missing persons flyer, and it's her son Darren. So Rhonda went crazy. Her husband or her boyfriend got, wiped out, and then Darren is missing. She got a lot going on. Sis got a lot going on. So it's nighttime, and Summer's trying to go to sleep, but she's like rubbing the spot where her husband normally sleeps. She then hears a lot of like ruffling, and she realizes that it's Major and he's having a bad dream. So she comes in there, and Major's like, no, I want Dad. And so then Summer is like, well, it's just me and you. It's me and you. Like, I need you to be my teammate. I know this is hard. I'm scared. I understand. Like, I'm trying to figure out how we going to keep a roof over our head, bills paid. Like, it's a lot going on. Like, I get it. But I need you to be a team with me. That is what we are. We have to be a team. And so Rhonda, why do I keep wanting to call this lady Rhonda? Summer gets up and gets a coaching whistle, because the dad was a coach, like he was a community leader. And so she gives Major the whistle, and she's just like, anytime you're feeling scared or you need me to come, just blow the whistle and I got you. And so she walks out the room, he blows the whistle, and she comes and lays in the bed with him. So at this point, you thinking, okay, they're good. Like, she had this heart to heart with him. Maybe he'll understand now. Girl, no. No. Major, we got a montage of Major like running through the house, breaking stuff, like being mean to her, drawing on the wall, just being very like defiant and nasty towards Summer, to the point where I was just like, where is Mr. Crocket to kidnap him? Because why are we being this way? Like, I could understand, like, I thought maybe like he was being this way because of the Mr. Crocket like video, and that was making him defiant. But at this point in the movie, the videotape is not even like there yet. He's just being an ass just to be one. And I'm just like, yeah, girl, I don't know how you do it. Cause I was at this point in the movie, legit, I was like, Summer, if he get kidnapped, just, cut your losses, move away from PA, go to like California, I don't know, Hawaii, man, girl, maybe go overseas, live your best life on a beach somewhere, but not like, Major don't deserve you as a mother, because he is, ugh. So she's like, Summer is trying to listen to like parenting tapes, trying to figure out like, how do I need to switch it up? What can I do? And just nothing is working or like getting through to Major. Like, he's just being defiant just to be defiant. Next thing you know, there's like this scene of this person, we don't know who it is, like with all these TVs like stacked up on top of each other, and like they're just looking at all these different kids, and like it's going in and out from like static to a different kid, static to a different kid, static to a different kid. And like you see, like I don't know what, it's like this monitor that's tracking like frequencies, but you can hear Mr. Crockett's voice, and that's when things start to change on the TV. So it's getting weird. It's getting weird. We don't know who this person is that is like looking at all these TVs, but it's getting weird. Okay, it's getting weird. So Summer, like I said, is listening to like these parenting tapes, trying to figure out what she can do. And the next thing you know, she hears like a thud, and it's outside. So she walks outside, and she sees like a book donation like box out in front of her house. And I said, girl, that was your first red flag, because one, you didn't see nobody planted there, and two, they didn't ask for that to be planted in front of your house. So why even open it and look at the books? Okay, what we doing? So Summer walks up to the little like the donation book box thing, and she opens it, and she pulls out the Mr. Crockett like VHS tape. And so she walks into the house, and she's like, Major, come here, maybe this might satisfy you. So she slides it into the VCR and like turns it on, and instantly he's like really like entranced by the tape. And so she goes and lays in the bed and just takes like a deep breath and like trying to breathe, because her child is a menace. Ever since Summer put in the VHS tape, that's all like Major wants to watch. Like he doesn't want to do anything else. That's all he wants to do is watch Mr. Crockett. She's kind of getting weirded out, but she's also kind of okay with it. We leave Summer and Major, and we see this little white girl, and she's watching Mr. Crockett too, like just fully enthralled by it. And while she's watching it, you like next thing you know, the tape cuts out, and like she freaks out because like, you know, she's just as invested into Mr. Crockett just like Major, but her situation is a lot different. She tries to wake up her dad, and you can tell that he's mean too. The house is like disheveled. It's giving an addict tease. And then next thing you know, we see like a spoon and a needle. So we know, okay, the daddy got a drug habit. And so he's not very nice to her either. Very mean. And so she tries to like turn on the TV again, but then it turns off. And then next thing you know, it goes off, and all of a sudden Mr. Crockett pops up again. And the dad sees him, tries to like pew pew him, and then Mr. Crockett is like, "Oh, your gun's not working." Girl decapitates the man. I mean, just dismembers him. Just takes that man out. And then next thing you know, you see Mr. Crockett go to the little girl's room. He like makes a door with this marker. We see him with this marker. He makes this door, and he's like, "Go in. I'll be there as quick as you can say, you know, Bluey brains something something." And we then see Rhonda. She's outside the room like, "No, no, no, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go, please don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go." And then the little girl walks through the door that Mr. Crockett makes. And then Mr. Crockett looks out the window. The smile he has turns to a frown, and then he looks at her, and then he kind of laughs in her face, and then walks through the door, and she's just like, no, just like freaking out, just like, oh my gosh, she got another one. So the movie makes you kind of like feel bad, but like ultimately like the main victims are the children, because it seems like he's targeting bad parents. Like this girl's dad was a heroin addict and was mean and nasty towards her, and Mr. Crockett is like was like her like safe space. But then it's like, I know that's your daddy's horrible, but then this, I don't know what Mr. Crockett is. And it's starting to get like, you starting to realize that Mr. Crockett isn't what he seems to be, because as the little girl is watching the tape, there's moments where it like the tape skips and you see Mr. Crockett with like a evil face. Then it goes back to him being happy and dancing with the kids, and then it clicks back on, and then you see him like screaming, and then it goes back to him dancing. And then when we actually see that like the world isn't like his world isn't what it seems. And so um Rhonda sees him, he sees Rhonda, Mr. Crockett sees Rhonda sees him, but he laughs in her face because he realizes like Rhonda can't do nothing to him, even though Rhonda has been like the main person trying to stop people from like, watching the tape, but she looked like a crazy person. Like I told you, I thought she was a crackhead, okay, when we first saw her. So we get back to Summer and Major, and at this point Summer is like, yeah, it's time for you to stop watching this tape. So there's a point where Major is watching the tape, and the bird, I cannot remember the name of the bird, but the bird is like doing the little cute like happy dance, and then as Summer is looking at the tape, it stops dancing and like stops smiling, and it just looks at her like very much like, and just like it's like death glaring at her, and she's looking at the tape like what's up. And then it jumps again, and then the bird goes back to like dancing and being happy go lucky. And so then not Rhonda, but Summer is like, yeah, it's time to get this tape. So she takes the tape out of the takes the tape out of the VHS player, and Major has a full-blown meltdown. He's like, put the tape back in. And she's like, no, Major, let's go outside, let's go like play football, let's go do something. You've been watching this tape like every day, all day, like let's go do something. He's like, no, I want to watch Mr. Crocket. Put the tape back in. I said, oh. And so she's like, no, Major. So then Major goes to like this table that has all the dad's trophies and like family photos. And she's like, what are you about to do? Major takes the family photo, and like Summer is like, you better not. He throws the photo on the ground. And so it's in a picture frame, so it shatters. She's like, Major, are you serious? Are you serious? Then he grabs his dad's trophy, like one of his dad's trophies, and he's about to thrash it to the ground. And Summer's like, Major, do not do that. Don't do it. I'm warning you, don't do it. He throws it to the ground, and I said, girl, smack him. I know we're not supposed to advocate for that, but he deserved just one to the mouth, just one good one. And it would be one thing if this was Major's like first offense, but no, like we saw a montage of this child just being a complete ass girl. So like one slap, just one slap. Like I'm not saying beat him, just in the face, just one good pop to the face. Cause I said, girl, why? And so then he starts to like cry, and she's like, girl, don't even. And he was crying because Summer basically says, you know what? I'm done being your mama. I'm done dealing with you. Like I'm done. And he starts like, how dare you say that to me? And she was like, boy, please. And I said, yeah. I was like, you don't think that warrants you being yelled at? Now, should she say she don't want to be his mama no more, that she quit being a mom? No, because kids make mistakes. But like, that's why just a pop to the, just a to the mouth. Like, what's wrong with you? Because he was just being so nasty. And at first, I really thought it was the tape. I said, well, maybe the tape's going to make him be this way. No, he's just nasty. And so he goes to his room, and it's nighttime. And so now Summer's feeling bad for what she's saying. So she's like, okay, let me go apologize to my son. And then things get bad. Things get bad. Down the hall to apologize to Major for what she said earlier. And it's nighttime. And as she's walking, the TV clicks on. Now, mind you, she already took the VHS out of the player, but somehow, some way, Mr. Crocket is back on the screen. And so she go into the den and she turned the TV off, and it pops right back on. And she's like, She turns it off, and it comes right back on. Then it comes, the third time it comes on, it like turns the volume all the way up. And she's like trying to turn it off. Like she's hitting the remote and everything, and it's not working. So then she just get mad and like pulls the TV all the way down and like smashes it onto the ground. Cause she was like, I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of it. Girl, I'm not gonna lie, this part had me because it reminded me of The Ring, and and so next thing you know, you see Mr. Crockett's hands slide off and under the TV, and they're like, it's glass all up in Mr. Crockett's hands, and then Summer's just standing there like, oh God. And so then out of nowhere, Mr. Crocket like pulls him like halfway out he's halfway out the TV, like glass all up in his face, like, hello. And she's like, So Summer runs to her bedroom. She grabs a baseball bat. And then by the time she gets back into the den, he's fully out of the TV. And so she about to swing for her life. He takes his marker and does something where it just flings it out of her hand, flings the bat out of her hand. And so she's like what the hell? And then he like pushes her back and like draws a door and walks into Major's room. Now, Major was crying all throughout the night after getting into it with his mom, and he called out for Mr. Crocket. So then like Summer's freaking out, so she runs to Major's room and she's like banging on the door, Major, and like Major's like, she's like, Major, no, like Major, and like she's trying to wake him up. So then she runs back into the den, grabs the bat and starts whacking at the door and like ripping the door open, trying to get through the door to get to her son. And Mr. Crocket is like holding her son's hand, and he takes the magic marker and makes another door, and he's like, say bye to mommy. And Major's like, bye mommy. And she's like, Major, no, and like she's trying, she's trying to get through the door. And then unfortunately Mr. Crocket takes her child. Now mind you, at this point in the movie I said, girl, that might be a blessing in disguise. I really thought so. So she ends up calling 911. We find out that 911 thinks she a junkie. He was like, it's just another runaway kid, but can you blame him? It's a junkie parent. She's talking about her son walked through the walls, walked through the doors, like, and left her, like, yeah, something wrong with her. So we then see this montage of Summer like canvassing the neighborhood, and now she has missing person flyers too of her son, and she's like, she puts one right beside Darren's poster. She's like passing out flyers, and then they get to the house of the little girl where Rhonda saw a Mr. Crocket take her, and the father and the police find like his dismembered body. And so you got this one nosy neighbor that walks up and is like telling the police everything. And maybe she was like the landlord, I don't know. But she was like, I've been telling them about that man, having them junkies all up and through that house. The only person I feel bad for is that poor little girl. Some man came through the TV. Them junkies is getting crazier and crazier. And so Summer is like, what do you mean? And the lady explains like supposedly that like somebody came through the TV and kidnapped the little girl and like, took out the father. And so Summer is like, oh my God, he's coming through the TV and taking children. Oh my gosh. So then we see this guy that's looking at Summer, listening to the whole conversation, because like they have all the caution tape everywhere and like the whole neighborhood is out looking at this house. We get this scene where we see Summer and she's at the library and she's like going through old like news clippings, and it's like child at the time. We see this one little Asian girl, she disappeared. And then we see the new white girl, she's gone. We then see Darren's missing persons report, and then we get to this story where it said back in like 1979 Emmanuel Crocket was like murdered for like a failed kidnapping attempt or something like that. And then they talk about this boy named Anthony was rescued after the police did what they do. Okay. And so she then hears Mr. Crockett's theme song and the friendship song again while she's at the library. And she sees like this open area. I said, girl, why would you walk up in there by yourself? At least turn the lights on. But it's like dark. It's a bunch of like shelves in there. And it looks like an AV room or like a video room or something like that. So she walks in and she sees the TV and Mr. Crocket is playing. And then next thing you know, Mr. Crocket gets very like, he stops singing. He props up and he's like, hi there. I've been waiting for you. I said, oh my gosh, creepy man. I'm uncomfortable. And he's like, come a little closer. I can't really say hello to you if you don't come a little closer. So Summer starts walking closer to the TV that's on. And he's like, that's right. He said, now Summer, stop trying to find us. You never gonna find us. Stop trying to find us. Mind you, she about this close to the screen. I said, he about to choke you. And he was like, you'll never get him back. And then she said, I can send you. He ends up saying, I can send you to hell just like I sent your husband if you keep trying me. I'm that powerful. And Summer is like, what do you mean? And then next thing you know, Mr. Crockett's hand come through the TV and grab her and start shaking her. And she start fighting. I said, girl, that's why you don't get that. I said, I knew he was going to try to choke her out. And so she comes running through the goes running through the library trying to get out, because now she's spooked and she's freaking out. And then she bumps into this guy named Eddie. And I said, something about Eddie, he making me uncomfortable. He making me feel shifty. And so Eddie's like, I believe you. I believe everything. I've been following this story for a long time. Nobody believes me, but I believe you. I believe you. And so we end up seeing them go to the park. They go to the park and they're sitting there, and Summer is like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Nobody believes me, but like, I feel like I'm going crazy. Eddie gives us this story about how his daughter, I think he called her Laura, got taken by Mr. Crocket. He was like, everyone tries to say that like she's with her mother, but I know not. I know it's something different. I know that she was taken by Mr. Crocket. So Summer is so like out of it, like her mind, like she said, she feels like she's going crazy. She thinks she hears Mr. Crocket, and then they're on like across the park where her and Eddie were at. You see this pair. It's like a little girl, and I think she's either with her dad or with like a brother, but I'm thinking it's her dad, and they're like playing like patty cake, and she has like a kite with her. And next thing you know, the guy turns around, and Summer sees Mr. Crockett's face, and so she gets up and she's like, get away from him, get away from him. And then Eddie grabs Summer and's like, hey, relax. And then Mr. Crockett's face is no longer there, and it's a totally different person. And the dude is like, girl, what's wrong with you? I'm with my child. What's up with you? And so she's like, I'm losing it. I'm really losing it. And then Eddie's like, no, you just need to relax. You know what calms me down? Ice cream. And Summer said, mother effer, my child is missing. What do you mean giving me ice cream? And he's like, well, I'm just trying to help you out. He was like, this must mean something, because you are the only person this far that I have met that has survived after their child being taken. And then I started to put I said something wrong with Eddie. Something's up with Eddie. Something I already peeped. I already felt like I knew who Eddie was, but I was like, I said, I don't trust Eddie. I don't trust him. And so Summer is like, I'm not the only one. There was a homeless lady that came to me. She was trying to warn me about Mr. Crocket. She was already singing the song before I even knew what the song was, the friendship song, before I even knew what it was. And so Eddie is like, well, I got a couple of friends that work on the force. I can ask them questions, and maybe they might be able to help us find like a homeless lady who has a missing child. So we see Summer. She's back at her place. She's asleep. She then wakes up, and it's like a dream of her and her husband, and she's so happy to see him. She's hugging on him, and then the husband is like, where's my son? And she's like trying to explain to him that like he's missing. And so the husband is like, oh, he probably ran away from you because you're such a bad parent. Because, I'm gone. So I didn't do nothing to him. And so she's stepping back. She's like, what do you mean? But as the husband is talking, his skin starting to like peel and like warp and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a dream. This is Mr. Crocket. And he was like, yeah, you should just let him stay with him. And she's like, what do you mean? And then Mr. Crocket like rips off the husband's face, and he was like, you should let him stay with me, Summer. Let him go. And then she wakes up like, oh my God. I said, oh, what the hell? So next thing you know, Summer wakes up and she hears somebody like banging at the door, do. And so she grabs a bat, like she ready for whatever. And then she was about to swing, and then she was like, who is it? And it's Eddie. And she's like, Eddie, why would you bang on the door like that? Like you like are you crazy? And Eddie's like, I got a lead. There's this homeless lady, her name is Rhonda, and they found her the last address that she was at. We can go talk to her. So he jumps in the car. They jump in Eddie's car, and it's playing like children's music. And he's like, oh, my daughter likes this song. I said, something about Eddie ain't right, y'all. Something about Eddie ain't right. And so they pull up to like this homeless camp, and it's like this big camp. And it's booby trapped, but they don't notice it. And so Eddie and Summer are walking, and then they trip over this rope that alerts these cans. And so Rhonda come out with a blade, got Summer hooked up like this, and she like, what we about to do? Eddie pull out his his gun, and Summer's like, Eddie, like, where? I didn't know you was. Eddie's like, I did not know you was, like, Summer's like, I didn't know you was strapped. Like, what's going on here? And like, Eddie's like, Rhonda, put it down. We just want to talk. And Summer's like, yeah, Rhonda, we just want to talk. We believe you about what happened to Darren. We believe you because it's happened to me, Rhonda. It's happening to me. So then Rhonda's like, okay, and she got a knife ready if y'all want to get froggy. And so they camp. And that's when we find out or when I find out that scene earlier on in the movie was Rhonda sitting in front of all those monitors where she could see the different kids, and it was like static and all of that stuff. And the wavelength machine that you see when Mr. Crocket speaks is like, that's Rhonda. So Rhonda pretty much like was like disassembling like radios and computers to like make this like huge, I don't know what you would call it, like setup where she'd been trying to tap into like Mr. Crockett's like wavelength. And she says like that's the only way like he can come into our world is like through a certain wavelength. And so she found the wavelength, and that's how Rhonda's been able to like pop up. And that's how she was able to go to that other little girl's where the dad was a heroin addict and like see Mr. Crocket, is because she was able to see the little girl through the screen. And so Rhonda was like, I can try to tap in to see where else he's going to be, because Summer and Eddie are like, hey, we need you to do this for us, Rhonda, please. And so Rhonda's like, I can try. So we see her like put her hands on the TV, and then like she starts to like go into this trance, and then the monitors start to pop up, and you start to see different kids like sleep, having like all these happy moments. And Rhonda says he specifically targets those who have bad moments. And when they have bad moments, it triggers Mr. Crocket. And so as like Rhonda's looking, they settle in on this little girl that's like watching Mr. Crocket, but her dad is like, hey, it's time to go to bed. It's time for you to like go to sleep. Like it's time for bed. And so it's like a bad memory, I guess, for the little girl, because she doesn't want to do it. So then we see this scene of Mr. Crocket before he became Mr. Crocket, where he's like on this like low budget, like it's given very much like a early YouTube video. He has like a puppet who's supposed to be like his, like, his friend and whatever, and like he's arguing with the puppet. He has like this backdrop, it falls apart. He cussing out his production staff, they cussing him out. He's getting mad at himself. He's called you the puppet. He's trying to call the puppet's calling him a loser, a wannabe, but he's doing that to himself. He gets so mad that he takes a hammer and like smashes the puppet like face in, to the point where he like bludgeons and like destroys his hands. And then next thing you know, it's like happy-go-lucky Mr. Crocket. But while all of this is happening, Eddie is smiling. Like he's smiling at like the happy moments of Mr. Crocket and the kids all together. And when it gets to where he's hurting himself, Eddie was like, I can't watch this anymore. And I'm looking at Eddie like, I see you, Eddie. I see you. So then it flashes a street name, and Summer's like, okay, Rhonda, okay, you don't have to keep doing it. You don't have to keep doing it. But she can't get out of it. So Eddie turns off the TV, and Summer pulls her back. And so they're like, okay, we got to go here. And Rhonda's like, I can't. And Summer's like, we need everybody, Rhonda. And Rhonda said, the last time I went, I lost my mind and I lost my child. I don't know if I can do this. And they're like, but we here for you, girl. We got you. So they pull up at the house. Rhonda still is having like cold feet. She don't even know if she want to go into the house. And she's like, do you ever wonder if they were better off without us? Like, he only comes if you do bad things. And she's like, what did you do? And Summer is looking at her like, girl, I ain't do nothing. Hey, that child is bad, but he my child, so I want him back. And so Summer is just like, um I know boys need their moms, so we need to go and find our kids and get them back, and you don't have to do this alone. I'm here with you. So is Eddie. So like she takes Rhonda's hand and they go inside the house. The house is in shambles, girl. The house is in disarray. It's blood all up on everything, and it's like in different spots with different letters, like to simulate like the alphabet. There's like what are the, I don't know, like letter blocks on the floor talking about murder is fun. They got, kill pops. It's a lot going on. Then they walk up on the daddy. He is dismembered. Like two arms are on the wall, like nailed to the wall. The top part of the man's head is gone. The legs chopped off. They did it. Mr. Crockett did the number on him. So then we see Mr. Crockett in the basement ushering another kid into like his world. And mind you, while we start to see that the world is not what it seems. Like the kids go to Mr. Crockett's world. Like when Major finally got to Mr. Crockett's world, you realize that it's not what it seems. Like he flickers back and forth between like what is there and what's not there, because Mr. Crockett is controlling their minds so much so that like what they think they see, it's not there. Like the sun that you see in the show is actually like a demon moon that like has blood coming out its eyes. The bird is like a inside out skeleton bird with like its eyes and its mouth and it's like clawed teeth. The blue I think it's a buffalo or a bear is like an eye here, teeth like in where the another eye is supposed to be, just nasty. And like the set where the show is filmed is like disheveled. It's like it looks horrible. It's scary and it's uncomfortable. And now I'm starting to figure out is Mr. Crockett like a demon and this is his dimension, or like what where we at? What's going on? What's going on? Where we at? And so they're in the house and Mr. Crockett hears them upstairs. So he ushers the little girl into like his world and he comes upstairs. They all hide. Honestly, the best hiding place is where, what's her name? Where Rhonda was, because they were hiding. Eddie and what's her name? Summer were hiding behind a kitchen table in the middle of the room. I said, girl, what is this? And so Mr. Crockett said, it's not nice not to say hello to guests because I know you're in here. I said, girl, what? I said, girl, move, try to move, do something. And so Mr. Crockett flashes away the table. The table moves the other way. And so Eddie and Summer are just standing there. And he's like, hello. And he's about to attack them. Rhonda, for a good one, runs up, whacker, hits him in the back of the head with this like wooden chair. And then Mr. Crockett goes down. And then Rhonda, I don't know why she didn't run with Eddie and Summer, but she didn't run. I said, girl, either run out the house or run downstairs with them, but don't stay upstairs by yourself with this man. And so she doesn't run. They make it down the steps and Summer's like, we gotta go get Rhonda. Eddie's like, we gotta go. And she's like, no, we gotta go get Rhonda. Girl, Rhonda's standing out the door. Mr. Crockett come up and takes the chair that like broke apart after Rhonda hit him in the chest and like shoves it through her. I said, oh. And they're like, Rhonda. And then they try to run up to help. And he jerks at them. They run back down the stairs and run through the gate. Like the door that he made with his magic marker. So we finally see Eddie and Summer wake up. And they wake up and they're now in Mr. Crockett's world. And they are like, where in the are we? Where are we? And so Summer's waking Eddie up and like they're like trying to get their bearings of like where they are. They're in this messed up, like burned down studio type vibe. And then they stand in front of this area and all of a sudden Blue comes out and he's now in his monster form, like ready to attack them. And Eddie's like, wait, Blue, it's me, Blue. Eddie, like, he's like, it's me, Blue. And Blue doesn't recognize him and is like, and Eddie falls back and like runs away. And Summer falls and tries to get up, but like Eddie's nowhere to be found. So then we see Mr. Crockett comes in and he pushes Summer into the chair that we see in the beginning of the movie, but it doesn't hurt her. He tells the chair, restrain her, okay? Just hold her right here. And then he's like, then Mr. Crockett is like, let's have a story time. So we see all the kids that were kidnapped come out and sit around him. And mind you, they are not there because he has like mind control powers, and he's like really messing with their vision, so they do not see the world around them as what it truly is. And so Summer is like, Major, it's me, it's Mom, Major, it's me. And Major is not paying her Summer any attention, okay? Not even looking at her. And she's like, Major, it's me, it's Mom. Come on, Major. And he turns around, and then she sees his eyes, and she's like, yo. And so she's freaking out. And so Mr. Crockett starts reading the story. We find out that Mr. Crockett was abused as a kid by his dad. And it seems like he was the only one left to be abused because everybody left the situation, but he was a kid, so he couldn't leave. So Mr. Crockett made a deal with himself that he was going to get big and strong and then take out his daddy. And he just did that. He hit the man upside the head with a frying pan. And I think the art style of showing the story this way and like a children's, like a cartoony way, like made it more palatable, but it also made it more sinister because it made it uncomfortable. So Mr. Crockett, kills his dad by hitting him upside with the pan, and he decides, at that, he said, on that day, I realized that my job was to protect kids from the bad parents and, save them. He also made it look like an accident, so he never faced jail time for what he did to his father. He then talks about how he signed a contract to be, to do the Mr. Crockett show. So he had such a good time doing the show, and then he was like, one of the kids there, he realized was sad, and it was Anthony. All the while this is going on, you see Eddie hiding behind something, listening to the story, and like he's listening in a way that he's like reminiscing about what's going on. And I was like, okay, Eddie. And so he's like, so Mr. Crockett's like, I saw Anthony and saw that he was very sad and he needed someone. So Mr. Crockett kidnaps Anthony, and they're at his house having a good time, and then the police show up. Okay. And so Mr. Crockett shoves Anthony in a closet, and then the police are questioning him, and then he stabs both of the police officers to death. And so Anthony is watching all of this, and next thing you know, he gets scared. Another police officer comes out, and Anthony runs towards the door. The police officer looks like he's about to like shoot Anthony. He just lets off rounds, and Mr. Crockett jumps in front of them, protecting Anthony and dying. Well, before all of this happened, we find out that Mr. Crockett made a deal with the devil to have a section in hell for himself. So where they are at is actually hell. So when he made that comment towards someone talking about, I'll send you to hell just like your husband, I guess he can do that. I don't know. What if the husband didn't do nothing to go to hell? Did he just take him out of heaven and send him down there? I don't think he has that jurisdiction, but okay. But they're actually in hell right now, or a portion or a part of hell. And so everyone's cheering about the story. And then next thing you know, you hear Summer being like, are you serious? So then Mr. Crockett is like, guys, I'm here to protect you. You won't have to have bedtimes. You can eat all the ice cream you want. You'll be safe here. You'll never have to worry about bad parents ever again. Never, ever, ever again. And Summer is like, you're kidnapping kids and murdering parents over bedtime, bro? For real? And so she's like, Eddie, come out. Eddie, it's now's your time. So Eddie comes out, and Summer thinks Eddie's about to help her. No, Eddie pull out the weapon, pull out the blick on her. Just pulls it out. And she's like, are you serious, Eddie? And so we find out that Eddie is in fact Anthony. I said, I knew that boy was Anthony. I knew it. And he tries to walk up to Mr. Crockett and give him a hug. But Mr. Crockett is like, back up off me, bro. Who are you? Who are you? And Anthony's like, it's me. It's Anthony. And Mr. Crockett's like, no, Anthony was an innocent, sweet boy. You are a bitter, insane, delusional man. Get away from me. You don't belong here. And Anthony's like, no, I do belong here. It's me. It's Anthony. He's legit stunned. Anthony started to lose his mind, because then Mr. Crockett controls all the kids to sing the song, You Don't Belong. So they're all chanting, you don't belong. You don't belong. And Anthony's like, no, I do belong here. I do belong here. Next thing you know, Blue walks up behind Anthony, and Anthony turns around, Blue, it's me. And Blue slashes Anthony's throat. I said, Lord have mercy. Did you have to do that? Did you have to do that? So Anthony goes down, and like Summer is just like, you're a monster. And so Blue is like legit like ripping Anthony apart, and then grabs his body to the another side of the room or something. And so, and next thing you know, Mr. Crockett lets Summer out of the chair. And he was like, you know what? I'm a fair guy. You know, you get one, I get one. You know, and I'm not like Anthony. I'll let you have a fair one. So he was like, if you really want your child back, I'll let you get your child back. So Summer is like pleading to Major. She's like, Major, it's mom. It's mom. She's touching his face. She's like, I'm here for you, baby. It's me. And then he kind of snaps out of it, and he's like, oh, mom. And he hugs her and holds on to her. And she's like, let's go. And then Mr. Crockett is like, do you really want to go, Major? Do you? And then mind control comes right back on. And like, he takes him and he's like, see, he doesn't want to go with you, especially after you say you quit being his mom. I said she was well within her right to say that to that little gremlin of a child out, because she thought she had Major after they had that moment where like he comes to, but then he goes back to, you know, being under Mr. Crockett's control. So then Mr. Crockett is like, let's play a game. And he picks hide and go seek. He tells the kids, whoever get the final blow or delivers the final blow on Summer, you win the game and you get a prize. And so next thing you know, the kids turn into straight gremlins, just demon time type of energy. And so and so Summer gets to running. That demon bird runs up on her. She chokes it out. Then she stomps on it like crazy. She stomped. I said, girl, keep stomping. And she's running. I think one of the kids actually like bit her, or like almost bit her. And then she ends up back where she left off, back in like the studio area. And then all of the kids are surrounding her. And Mr. Crockett tells them to stop, and she turns the lights back on. And then Major is standing beside Mr. Crockett, and he makes this, uses his magic marker to create a knife so that he can stab Summer and deliver the final blow. And so Summer is like, Major, I love you. Like, don't do this. I'm like, don't do this. And so Major hugs Mr. Crockett before he grabs the blade, and he walks up to his mom, and he pretends to like, you know, shiver, you know, but then he gives her the marker, and you know, Summer pretends like she got hurt, and Mr. Crockett thinks he's won, so he's laughing and giggling and like, yeah, we got her. And then she has the marker, and then Major stands behind her, and then Mr. Crockett is like, are you serious, like, why would you do that, Major? We're friends. Why would you do that? So then Summer has the marker, and Mr. Crockett, I don't know why they played in the man that does, I cannot think of his name, the guy that does Reading Rainbow. He's like, you think you stronger than me? That Rainbow, I'm better than that Rainbow mother effer right there. They be reading y'all books. Like, you can't do nothing to me. This is my realm. I'm all powerful here. And so Mr. Crockett tries to run up on Summer, and then she takes the marker, and she like cuts him in half. And then Summer is like, I'm from Shreve Bottom, bitch. I said, okay. I screamed with that line. And so all the kids start snapping out of it. And so Mr. Crockett is cut in half, like from like the waist down, and like he's just a torso. So he starts crawling to the kids like army style, talking about, you can't leave me. I'll be your friend forever. You can't leave me. And so Summer makes a door, and all the kids are walking through. I said, they are walking through. I said, do y'all not see where y'all at? Run. Come on now. Let's go. And so Major is the last one to get through the door, and Mr. Crockett grabs his foot, and he's like, Major, you can't leave. I'll be your friend forever. I'll be your friend forever. Whenever you need me, I'll be there in a heartbeat. Major, I'll be your friend forever. And Major is like, he not kicking hard enough, because I was like, kick him in the first. And like Summer is not like pulling hard enough, but like they're both pulling him. And then eventually Mr. Crockett like pulls off his shoe and like rips a part of Major's pants, but they fall through the gateway. So it's been some time. They're back on the other side. We actually see Rhonda and Darren be reunited. We see Darren and Major go to the movies and have a fun time. And we actually see Major actually being a team player and being way more behaved with his mom. So we see them throw away the VHS box. Like, they like, we don't need none of that here. We good. I'm like, girl, I would have left the state. We would have moved, maybe the country, moved somewhere else. I don't know. So while it's been some time now, we see Summer having a parent teacher conference, and the teacher's like, thanks for meeting with me, I know you've been going through a lot. And she was like, yeah. And the teacher's like, we want to supply or help in any way with Major's like transition, but what we can't deal with is him being aggressive and violent towards our staff. He has a really hard time dealing with discipline. And Summer is like, what do you mean? I've always taught my son to defend himself, but like, what's going on? And so the teacher pulls out like these pictures, and it's teachers with like bruises, like marks everywhere. And Summer is like, what is going on? Like me and my husband taught, Major to defend himself, but not like this. And so the teacher is like, well, is there any male role models in his life he's learning this from? And so Summer's like, well, his dad passed, but no. And then the teacher's like, what about your new boyfriend? And Summer was like, what man? What man you talking about, sis? Like, what are you talking about? Well, he's talking about this new role model that he has in his life. It's to the point where like the kids are afraid to be around him, because when he talks about him, they think he gonna come and get him. Like the man that he's talking about is gonna come try to kidnap them, so they don't like playing around him. And so Summer is like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And then we see Major in his room, like he's drawing pictures of himself, of his mom, girl. Then he draws a picture of Mr. Crocket, and then he puts the name on top of it, because he named the picture of himself Major, and then the picture of Summer, mom, and then it's Mr. Crocket, and he said dad. I said, Jesus, what's going on here? And so then Summer's like, what do you mean the kids are scared? Because it goes back to the parent teacher conference, and the teacher's like, well, they're scared that some man gonna come through the TV and get them. She freaking out. I said, girl. And then we see the colored pencils where that Major is using to draw his picture, and then the marker that Mr. Crocket was using, it rolls onto the table. And I said, girl, y'all supposed to destroy that. Y'all supposed to burn it. You're supposed to burn the marker. You burn everything. I said, he coming back. He coming back because y'all didn't get rid of it. He is coming back because y'all didn't get rid of it. Y'all, that is it. That is all. As always, remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely check out Mr. Crocket. It is streaming on Hulu. That's the only place that you can actually watch the movie, but it is really good. And I hope you enjoyed the review. If you've seen the movie, please drop down in the comments and share your thoughts with me, and like what you liked about the movie, what you didn't like about the movie, and if you would recommend it. And as always, I'm out, y'all. Deuces.